Hello, hello, and welcome to Tany Talks Live. On today's episode, we are talking about whether or not is money everything, right? I mean, we all hear the saying, right? Money makes the world go round. So we want to talk about that today. Is money everything? They always say that money isn't everything, right? They say money can't buy you love, money can't buy you happiness, money can't buy health, right? But I also say, what if it can, right? Because there's a lot of benefits to having money. Money helps us achieve our goals, right? It helps us get closer to pursuing our goals. And everything here pretty much costs money, right? Like nothing in this world is free. So I would highly assume that money is everything, because nothing is free. I mean, every day we go by and we have to spend money, right? Like, what if I told you I would give you $10 million, right? I give you $10 million, right? But I tell you that you can't see tomorrow. Like, for the rest of your life, you'll be blind. Would you take the $10 million? Right? Like, that's always like a really hard thing to describe, because it's like, okay, I'll take $10 million, but what exactly is $10 million worth to you? Right? Like, would you take the $10 million and just be blind for the rest of your life? Right? Would you take the $10 million and they tell you you can't see your family ever again? You'll never get to see your mother ever again. And would you take the $10 million? Those are questions that I always have, and I think asking whether or not is money everything a really, really, really good topic for today, right? Because how much money is enough money? Like, when you get money, how much is enough? Like, do you need to be a millionaire in order to be like, how much money is enough? Because you can never have enough money, right? Like, you could literally go from having $1 million to 2 million, $1 billion to 1 trillion to a gazillion dollars. You know what I mean? Like, how much money is too much money? Like, when will you be satisfied at the point, right? Because the amount of money that you can have is infinite, right? Like, you can have as much money as you make. You know what I mean? So is money really everything? You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about some cons and some good reasons for why money is like important, right? So some reasons why I feel like money isn't everything would be, what is money to you? Basically, like time. For instance, money cannot buy you not a second in the world. So you can sit here and have $1 million, right? But have no time. So, what is that worth to you? Because you can have $1 million and you can never get your time back. You know what I mean? The time that you spent. So that's one thing, like $1 million can't buy you. It can't buy you any time. You understand? It can't buy you your family back. You know what I mean? Like, the relationships that you have with other people is worth more than money. You know what I mean? So those are some of the things we're talking about right now, about like some of the ways that money isn't everything, right? We talk about our future, right? Your money can't buy you your future. I mean, it possibly can, because you can buy things, right? But it doesn't, it's not like you could make it so. Like, you can't say, hey, I want to be a king tomorrow, I'm going to pay for it. No, that's not how the world works, You can't buy your health, meaning you could have money, right? And it can make it easier for you to live when you have money, but no amount of money can stop a disease. For instance, if you come down with a disease or something like that and cancer hits you, you could be a millionaire with cancer. But what is that really worth to you? Like I was saying, if I sat here and I told y'all, I'll give you $1 million, but you can't see for the rest of your life, you will have to go the rest of your life blind. You cannot pay to get your eyes fixed, nothing like that. Would it be worth it to you? Would it be worth it? Like, no, right? Like, it's like, I don't think I would take $1 million to never ever see again. That means I'll never see the face of my child again. I'll never see the face of my friends again. I'll never see the face of my family again. I would never, So you can't pay me $10 million. for that. You know what I'm saying? If they told me they would give me $10 million and I would be dead tomorrow, no way I'm taking it. Like I feel like a piece of me would probably want to take it. Like if I think about it, okay, $10 million and I'll never live a day ever again. Like I might consider it, like to keep my daughter, like get her rich, but it's also like, will I sacrifice her not having a mom for the rest of her life? Like, so certain sacrifices for the money just isn't worth it. Like, but some of the things that money is good for is like, it helps us achieve our goals and our aspirations. Right. It also helps with traveling and education and businesses. For instance, like when you travel, you need money, right? So how are you gonna go places if you don't have money, number one? So it's like, okay, well, money affects the ability to travel. So the fact that you do have money, then you will be able to go on vacations and travel and do things like that, right? Also, if you have more money, then you'll be probably have a better access to better education, right? Like, so you can pay for yourself to get into certain colleges. You can pay for yourself, to pay for certain classes and things like that, because you'll have access to more money. And the more money that you have, you can pay tutors and things like that. And there's everything that you could kind of learn when you have access to money. So, I mean, that kind of makes me feel like money kind of is everything, almost in a way, because it's like, if I could achieve my goals and my aspirations and I have better access to education and I have, access to travel more time, and not only that, but having more money, I feel like also makes you feel like you have more time on your hands. You know what I mean? When you are making more money, like I feel like you could pay people to do things so that you don't have to do them, so that you could have more time to yourself, so that you could have more time to spend time with your family and things like that, where you don't have to actually be working and doing all the footwork, when you have access to more money. You know what I mean? Because the more access to money that you have, you will be able to afford to pay other people to do things for you, so that way you could free up some of your time. And I feel like most successful people that have the ability to pay other people have more time on their hands, so they could add on extra things, to their day. I feel like having more money has you more access to security as well. Like, when you have more money, you probably have to be more secure. So you have like more financial stability. You have access to like keep yourself safe, where it's like you could put your things in the bank. You could have security cameras and things like that to kind of keep you safe. So once you have more money, you have more access to security. And I feel like with more money, you have more financial freedoms, right? Like you could do kind of what you want when you want and kind of buy the things that you want, which is kind of like self-fulfillment. That they say that when you have more money, you have more sense of self-fulfillment, because you have more money to do the things that you want to do. You have there's no barrier sometimes when you have money and things like that. But there are it also kind of just improves your quality of life when you have access to more money. So I wanted to ask you guys, let me ask you guys, and this is the question of the entire topic today. $10 million, but you cannot see for the rest of your life. You will go the rest of your life blind. Would you take the $10 million? Because I like to know, because like I feel like everybody has a different outlook on that question. And then I feel like if I was rich, right, like there would be a lot of less things that would be on my shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, if I want it, I got it. You know what I'm saying? Money don't buy you everything, but I feel like it'll get me a lot, because I would rather freaking cry inside of a Cadillac than to be sitting there and crying inside of a Camry. You know what I mean? Like, I think I would take some of the struggles that comes with being rich, because it's like, okay, well, there's the good and the bad, but at least, I got my money right. And some people are like that. Some people are very much money focused in their lives, and that's okay. And some people, they appreciate the smaller things, where money does, they have more happiness in their life, because money isn't the root to all of their happiness. They appreciate things that doesn't cost money, like as I mentioned, like having those connections with your family and having connections with your friends. It says, yeah, money does bring happiness, but it helps us a lot. It doesn't bring happiness, but it does help us a lot, you know. And I was mentioning that, like, you know, I feel like the key to all of this, to be real, is a sense of balance, right? You have to have a sense of financial freedoms and things like that, and do what you want, but also, um, you know, they say that you get a lot of stress out and you get a lot of anxiety. Like, you having money does not make your mental health any better. You know what I'm saying? Like, having a lot of money actually causes a lot of excessive focus, and a lot of excessive focus on money and stuff like that. When you only care about money, 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 you actually become more depressed and stressed out. And it could lead to anxiety and like isolation issues and disconnect and delusion and things like that when people live a mind state of like money is just everything, you know, because in reality, there's a lot of things that money cannot buy you. Like, it cannot save you from cancer. You know what I'm saying? Money cannot save you from, God forbid, an accident happening to you. You know what I mean? You could have all the money in the world and your life could be gone tomorrow, just like anybody else. You know what I mean? So taking value for the things that money can't buy, I would say, is really important, and finding a good like balance in your life between, you know, wanting to get successful amount of money, wanting to have a lot of those success fulfilling moments where you have personal things that you want to do. Like, everybody wants to look nice, right? Everybody likes to dress nice. People likes to buy nice things, you know. And it always feels good to have the opportunity to be able to do those things, but it's like not at the price where, you know, your mental health is suffering. Because I feel like there's a good line between that, because your life really does improve and the quality of your life does improve with a lot of money. I will honestly say that. Like, I feel like money is everything, but you have to find a good balance between like not letting the like chasing the bag is good, but not chasing the bag until you fall off a cliff. You know what I mean? So at some point you have to be able to be like, okay, I'm gonna make this money, you know, but I'm also gonna enjoy the money that I'm making too. You know, I want to be able to celebrate it with my family. You know, that's how I would ideally would want to live my life. Like, there's no amount of money that you can give me personally, you know what I'm saying, to sacrifice the relationships that I have with my family. I just can't. Like, if you sat there and be like, hey, I'll give you $1 million, but you'll never see your sisters again. Like, I could never do that, because, you know, just that's what, like, who am I without them? You know what I mean? I feel like that a part of myself will be gone. So I won't be able to put up with giving a $10 million for nothing. Like, especially when I think about my health and everything like that, like, no, there's no way that you can pay me $1 million, $10 million, and I could never see again. Like, I would never take that as a deal. That's a deal breaker for me, because I feel like at a certain amount of money, I feel like I'm gonna be just fine anyway. Like, I don't need to have $1 billion in my bank account. I don't need to have $1 million in my bank account. As long as I have enough money that I could be able to travel when I want to, get the education for me and like my kids, to be able to live comfortably, you know, in a nice home and things like that. It's just like, it's weird because you're always stuck in a weird status, I feel like, in society, where, you know, you're either rich or you're either poor. You know what I mean? But it's like, what is the value of money to you? Like, what is money worth to you? Because I feel like some people, they would literally like kill their mom for like money. You know what I mean? Some people just like, they're so money freaking driven that they don't even stop to like smell the roses. Like, they just think that, oh, having a lot of money is just any and everything, and it truly isn't. You know what I mean? Like, some people will do some crazy things for some money. You know what I'm saying? And I've heard these crazy stories of like things that people do for money. You know what I mean? And I feel like it shows the value of the individual a lot, because it's like, if you could do that for money, like, imagine what you would do to me, or what you would do for yourself. You know, like, at what point do you draw the line, where it's like, okay, this is beyond morally wrong. Like, I cannot do this for no money. But I feel like people will go super high lengths to get some access to a lot of money, and I feel like it's hard. Let me read off some of the comments here. People win lottery and the family never knows, pops up. I mean, that's true too. Like, you could win the lottery and people you never know always pop up. And when you come into money, it's really hard to figure out like who you're gonna trust and things like that. I would highly advise anyone, if they get some money from the lottery and y'all come up and all of that, that you go seek a financial advisor or something like that. Like, you need to be able to find some help, you know what I'm saying, with your finances and figuring all of that out. So if you do in the lottery, I would advise a financial advisor. Also, someone who doesn't charge you too much, maybe even. I don't know. I wouldn't know what I would do with $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would I do with all of that money anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'm humble enough to like accept the money and just be like, if I could just came into $1 million, I'll be so grateful for it. But I'm not giving up like my loved ones or sacrificing anything for it. Like, I feel like if I couldn't even imagine accepting like $1 million and then be blind for the rest of my life. I asked someone else this, and I was like, would you take $10 million and be blind for the rest of your life? And they were like, yeah, I'll be blind and I'll live good and the money will go to my family and we'll be successful. I'm like, but dang, you'll never like be able to see them or anything ever again. And they were just like, yeah, I'll take it. I don't care. Like, they'll make that money the most amount of money for them and their families. So I wanted to ask you, like, how do you guys feel? Would you guys sacrifice? Like, is money everything to you? Like, do you feel like you're willing to sacrifice something for the rest of your life? Like, I always wonder. Because I feel like what money is good for. Like, I feel like there's good things that's money that there's for, and I feel like who even came up with the concept of even money in the beginning? Like, who created money? I feel like we never really needed money before then. I feel like initially we were born in a world where we had everything we ever kind of needed here, and then they just kind of created money out of nowhere. And I feel like they kind of just created money out of nowhere, and that's when people and power started to get involved, right? We in a scary world after the pandemic. Yeah, for sure. I feel like ever since money was created, right, it became a sense of power, right, where there's people that have more of it, people that have less of it, right? And I feel like people that have more money have more sense of power, and I feel like that's why a lot of people do seek it too, because they feel like, oh, the more riches that I have, the more powerful I would look like. And when money becomes evolved, and that what kind of created like these statuses within society where there's the rich, right, and there's the poor. But they always say that money cannot buy you love, right? So that's another thing too. It's like you can have all the money in the freaking world, right? But is that gonna buy you love, right? Because I feel like rich men don't find real love. I feel like they find women that seek rich lifestyles. You know what I mean? So it's more of a fact that, okay, she accepts me because she knows that I make a lot of money and I could just pay her to like be happy or whatever it is. But that's really not what love is about. You know what I mean? You could be richer than anyone, you know what I mean, and not find love and be unhappy and feel very lonely and feeling isolated. Because I feel like also the richer you are, the less people are in your like income bracket, right? So there's less and less people in the higher of society that are making money, right? Because like obviously the more is the poor, there's more poor people than there are rich people in society. So I feel like money creates this kind of hierarchy, and because of it, more people seek it, right? I feel like money is also used as an incentive for people to work harder for some reason, right? Even though they say money isn't everything, but people are willing to get paid to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like they will give you a job. Like, let's say they pay you $200 an hour to like clean up in the cemetery in the middle of the night. Like, some people be like, hey, like, that's a weird job, but I'll take it. You know what I mean? Because it's good pay. You know, so I feel like sometimes in society we wave money in people's faces in order to incite them to kind of do work. You know what I mean? Because that's what the workforce is kind of all about, right? Like, we basically charge a fee for a service that we do for someone, and we work for someone to make some sort of income, because like I said, everything in the world costs money. Like, there's literally nothing that is free anymore, even though technically we have everything for free here that we need, but everybody wants to charge for it. And now we live in the society where if you don't have money, you can't even get food. Like, how do you get food without money? You know what I'm saying? So it's really hard, I guess. Like, you know, now that I think about it, it's like the homeless. Like, you ever think about the homeless, and it's like, if they don't have a dollar, you know, to their name sometimes, and you know, they're really struggling. And thank God we have these kind of resources for people, you know, that don't have anything, because I can't even imagine like not having anything. You know what I mean? um Let me read off a comment here. It says, do you we should have received stimulus checks during the pandemic or food stamps to anyone. We should have received stimulus checks during the pandemic or food stamps to everyone. I mean, yeah, I mean, when we were going through the pandemic, they definitely gave out some type of assistance to people who were doing bad. You know, so I mean, thank God, like, that God gave them money, because like this is a big saying. It says money makes the world go round, and it absolutely does. Like, money just has to be in circulation. So it's like, if people are so poor and they're not making any money, they have to sit here and give people money so that they spend more money. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's so true. And that's why I feel like the whole concept of money is like so stupid in a way, because it's like, if there was no money, then there would be nothing for like the world to be circling around, you know. Oh, it's okay. So it's like, it has to, money is this thing that kind of just was created to just make the world work, right? Because I feel like back in the days, we used to trade, right? And we would like crop share and things like that, and we would get by just fine off of the bare things that we had. It's like, okay, well, I have a cow and I have milk, and I'll give you that, and I'll give you a goat, and I'll give you a chicken, and you give me some eggs, and you know, we could have just kept the vibe like that. Like, ever since we made freaking money, I feel like it made the world a weird place. But here we are, and we have money, right? But money is everything, but it isn't everything. And I feel like this concept of, is money everything, and is money anything, if it is or if it isn't, right? I feel like it's gonna be the topic towards the world's end. Like, no one's ever gonna not question that. Like, there's no answer to that, because people are always going to say yes because we need money, and people are going to say no because there are certain things that money can't buy. You know what I'm saying? They can't buy you life. No matter how much money you have in the world, you can't bring somebody back to life or make someone. You know, like, every single life on this earth is precious. There's no two of a person of a kind. I mean, there's twins, but like, there's no like two things in the world. I feel like you know, you could get better education with money. You could get traveling opportunities and live a good life with money. You could do you know, have a better life with money, but it's not always the same thing. It's like, you know, if you have a car, you have a car. At the end of the day, you're still getting from point A to point B. Like, you having like a freaking Hellcat and not having a Hellcat, it's like, you know, at the end of the day, it's, you're grateful to even get from point A to point B, you know, because I feel like there's also better and better and better and better always going too. So it's like, you could have $1 million, right? But then you want $1 billion, right? But then you want $1 trillion, right? Like, when is it ever going to be enough, right? Because you could go and get an apartment, you could go and get a house, you could go and get a bigger house. There's always a bigger house, right? You could always get the latest car and then get the newest car, and there's always going to be a new car. There's always going to be something newer, something that's always going to be better. So like, kind of find in yourself where to kind of, you draw that line for the most part, where you're saying, okay, well, this here is just enough money for me. You know what I mean? Because money is everything, but I truly feel like balance is key. Find a way to kind of balance it all out, where sometimes money is okay. I don't need that much money. you know, unless you give it away to charity, that'll be a lovely thing. You know, charity is also nice to give it to people who need it, you know. But money rules the world. Money makes the world go round. So I kind of want to thank everybody for joining Tany Talks today. Look forward to my poll in the middle of the week for your next topic for Tany Talks. Bye.